Article 1409. These contracts cannot be ratified, neither can the right to set up the defense of illegality be waived. Void contracts are considered in existence from its inception, wherein the expression void contract is a contradiction in terms. Nonetheless, this expression is loosely used in pertaining to an agreement tainted with illegality. On the other hand, inexistent contracts refer to agreements which lack one or some of all elements, neither comply with formalities which are essential for the existence of a contract. There are different characteristics of a void or inexistent contract. They are as follows. First, generally produces no force and effect. Second, cannot be ratified. Third, defense of illegality cannot be waived. Fourth, action or defense does not prescribe. Fifth, third parties who is not directly affected, defense of illegality is not available. Sixth, cannot rise a valid contract. Instances of void or inexistent contracts. First, those whose cause, object, or purpose is contrary to law, morals, good customs, public order, or public policy. Example, contrary to law. An agreement whereby San is to render service as a servant to Carlos without compensation as long as San has not paid his debt is reprehensible and censurable. Second, those which are absolutely simulated or fictitious. Example, Anna is indebted to Elsa. Upon learning that Elsa is going to enforce her credit, Anna pretended to sell her land to Olaf, his father-in-law. Anna did not receive a single centavo for the deed of sale she executed, and she continued in possession of the land as the contract was merely simulated or fictitious. There is no contract of sale in this case, as the parties do not intend to bound at all. The sale is but a sham. Third, those whose cause or object did not exist at the time of the transaction. Example, San sells to Carlos a parcel of land. In the deed of sale, 100,000 is stated as the price of the land. If this statement is false, then there is no contract of sale. Fourth, those whose object is outside the commerce of man. If the object is outside the commerce of man, such as sidewalks, public plazas, or public bridges, they cannot be the object of contracts of alienation, but may be the object, for example, of a contract for repair. Fifth, those which contemplate an impossible service. Example, if a blind man enters into a contract which requires the use of his eyesight, the contract is void, although in this particular case, we have only a relative impossibility. This is because here, the relative impossibility is not merely temporary. Sixth, those where the intention of the parties relative to the principal object of the contract cannot be ascertained. Example, Anna sold this land to Elsa. Anna has many lands. It cannot be determined which land was intended by the parties to be the subject of the sale. Therefore, the contract shall be null and void, and it is as if the parties have not entered into any contract at all. Seventh, those expressly prohibited or declared void by law. Example, contracts upon future inheritance except in cases expressly authorized by law.